Ozonics Killerwinds podcast, back again. The Nuke, Kamikaze, let's do this. I'm really buying into these nicknames. I'm not even kidding you. I'm really sticking with them.
Oh, all right.
We're going with it.
I haven't been calling you Kamikaze at all.
I don't know. I don't really like mine that much, but I feel like I've overcommitted now.
It's got to be a natural thing. We'll think of something.
Yeah, it's like the reason this is coming up is because Nick and I have been getting pretty obsessed with sprint cars, and I think, well, I don't want to say collectively, but my favorite sprint car driver, hands down, no questions asked, is Kyle Larson.
I think mine's probably Ryan Timms right now.
Boo!
Kyle, Young Money.
And that's what they call him. That's where the reason I brought this up is because they call him Kyle Young Money Larson, which I don't know how that nickname got, how it stuck, but it is.
Or Corey Payday.
Or Corey Payday. There's a bunch of them out there.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I want a dirt track nickname. And I think Nick's is pretty good. Nick the Nuke Simon. Part about a nickname is you can't be the one to decide the nickname.
That's decided your own.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's got to be natural.
You can't decide your own nickname.
Yeah.
That's like Tom Brady. He doesn't call himself the GOAT.
Yeah.
Everybody else calls him. That's why LeBron James isn't the GOAT.
Right.
Because guess what? Guess what he does? He calls himself the GOAT.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying something a little bit new today. We were in here setting up and just cooking, sweating. And so we're giving this a try with the AC on.
Yeah, we usually there's air conditioning in this room, and you can hear the fan humming along. These mics hopefully shouldn't pick it up. We tested it before, so if you hear a noise and you're in your vehicle, you're listening, you can't figure out what that is.
It's the AC.
That's what it is.
And if I get in here and edit this and it's too loud, we'll never, ever do this again.
Yeah, we're sorry. Well, you know what? Since you mentioned it, this isn't what I was planning on leading with, but let's just go into it because I think it's awesome. I heard a heck of a random fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how much I like my facts.
Yeah.
Yep, I like a good, interesting fact. Heard an interesting fact that we are going into the part of the season called the corn sweat season. And we're right smack dab in the middle of it right now. And what corn sweat season means is a lot of time this time of year we get high pressure. High pressure systems almost can create like a dome, right? That like holds everything in. And that's why it kind of cooks. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And get pretty hot. But when it starts to heat up, the corn starts to sweat and or releases water. Okay, and then that water evaporates, aka corn sweat. The fact that I heard said that corn releases somewhere between 48 and 60 billion gallons of water per year. That's just in the state of Iowa. It was in the 40s for like Illinois, all these states that have corn all over the place. So much water.
Yeah.
So here you've got this high humidity, and then the corn is releasing all this moisture. And it just gets incredibly humid, and you see the dew point start to rise. Hence why you go outside. I was outside yesterday trying to plant some grass, and I was just dripping.
Yeah.
And you're going to experience this next week when you do your nail guy, because when the dew point's so high, you can't sweat to cool off. Yeah. The air, it's literally a sauna. Mm-hmm. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Corn sweat. Never knew that was a thing. Lived out my whole life.
Yeah, that's wild.
I've always gone with the only fact I ever knew was knee high by the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Now it's knee high by the 4th of June, it seems like.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I thought that corn sweat was pretty interesting, and we are in the middle of it. And the other thing to say about that is and we're seeing it, and we've been doing it too. We're out doing a little bit of deer work. We're putting some cameras out. We're out just doing some stuff. You just got to be careful. Make sure you bring plenty of water.
Yeah.
We brought plenty of water. We brought a big jug with ice in it, and then brought another bottle just to replenish, and we still went through all the water we brought.
Yeah, I brought a whole gallon jug.
Yeah. So just make sure you try to stay hydrated.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because corn's going to be sweating, and you're going to be sweating.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. You think about people other than Iowa down in the south and whatnot. if you're listening to this, they're probably thinking, "Oh, that's nothing. That's no big deal."
We live in the North Country
Yeah.
compared to them.
Yeah, those all you guys down south are probably thinking, "Man, these guys."
I know they are thinking that because
Yeah.
we're kind of sissies when it comes to it because, like I said, I don't envy you.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, and like Cole said too, I'll be heading down to southern Texas next week, actually a week from today, and it's my second time going down there for hunts, and I just remember you'd be walking in the pitch dark, and you're instantly sweating already. I mean, there's just
Can't get away.
around here, even right now. I mean, you get up before the sun comes up, and
It's not bad.
it's not terrible. It actually feels pretty dang good.
The sun starts to go down. Feels great.
It feels awesome.
70 degrees, even a little bit of humidity. It's not that bad.
No.
It's manageable. It's like, okay, but there, man, you can't get away from it.
You can't get away from
It's
it.
not like out west where you can hide in the shade and it feels cooler.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah. The one
You
good
can
thing
just cut it.
One good thing about where we're going to be at, it's way South Texas, and I remember last time there was a pretty good breeze kicking almost every single day, which definitely helped. But still, in the mornings, it's pretty still, and it was just a weird feeling to be setting up camera gear and just absolutely dripping sweat.
Yeah.
Just not something you're used to,
Oh, yeah. No, and like you said, that's why it's been years since we've done shows in the South, but we used to do the Alabama World Deer Expo. That's actually probably going on, like right about now, or already has happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the Texas Trophy Hunter shows, they have them in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth area. And yeah, you get down there in the South, we used to do the Dixie Deer Classic. We've gone, like I said, that Alabama World Deer Expo. We've done shows in Florida. Guys and men and women in the South, they just understand that scent control, it's a tough deal
Yeah,
because whatever you do, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, you're sweating.
right.
If you're in Texas right now and you're trying to go out and thinking, you know what, let's go kill some pigs, let's go shoot some axis deer, let's go on a nilgai hunt,
Hang a trail camera.
let's go hang a trail camera, let's go set on a blind, let's just go do some work, let's put in a food plot, whatever it may be, you're sweating.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, like we've talked about before, we physically will only be out there so long, but our odor stays behind. Our odor really lets the deer know what's going on. And it can really totally mess things up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, that's, I think and ozonics can really come in handy. And like I said, you guys are going to be down there next week trying to get after it,
Oh, yeah.
seeing if you guys can shoot a couple nilgai.
Yeah.
So Scott and Buddy are going to be hunting, and then you and your buddy Ben will be filming.
Yep.
So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's just kind of, it's the same feeling every single year. It feels like that first hunt comes so fast.
Well, that's like we've talked about. I said that to you last week. It was either last week. It was earlier part of last week. Northwest Territories, the McKinsey Mountains,
Yeah.
Doll sheep hunting. That's already started.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yeah, and Doll sheep season in Alaska is not very far away. There's a lot of stuff that's not too far away from getting going here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. So,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's it's kind of funny. Like all of a sudden you kind of feel like you can't tick off the days on the calendar soon enough, and then all of a sudden now you look at it, you're like, oh crap, a month went by.
Yeah.
Oh crap, I'm 10 days away.
yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yep. But when you guys did the nilgai hunt last year, I was really interested to see how you were going to hunt the nilgai because, like I said, I've never been nilgai hunting. I know guys that have done it, and you hear about how they're so skitty. I know a lot of guys that have rifle hunted them, but you guys were trying to bow hunt them.
Yep.
And you were hunting over water holes mostly.
Yeah.
And then what, were you guys in blinds or were you in elevated tree stands or how did that work?
Yeah. So,
Or like tripod stands? Which
Yeah.
if a guy doesn't know what a tripod stand is, that's a real popular thing in Texas where it's basically just three legs that go up to a little platform on top with usually just like a little seat.
yeah.
And then there's usually just some hooks off of one of the poles going up that you kind of shimmy up real carefully, usually with thorns below you, try not to fall.
Yeah.
And then just kind of sit up there. They maybe put it right next to a tree or kind of up against a little bit of cover.
Yeah.
And that's how they do it. Because again, you can't hang a tree stand.
Yeah.
All that brush country, it's called brush country.
Right.
There's just no trees to get them in.
Yeah.
You can't go, oh, I'm going to go hang a Novix over there. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so Cole's exactly right. We hunted over water the entire time, just with how dry it is down there. It's a good place to get a ton of animals coming in, and it was really cool because it wasn't just nilgai. It was I mean, filmed some of the biggest whitetails I've ever filmed before. I mean, it's just King Ranch is a crazy place, and so there's a ton of different animals that are constantly coming to the water and whatnot. So, so like I said, we're really trying to hunt over water. The very first night we were there, we sat in just a box blind. Ended up being really small, and it was really hard with the camera gear and whatnot. So after that, we did all elevated tree stands, whether it be just a single ladder with a hang on off the side for the cameraman, or just a double tree stand. And I would just sit right next to Scott. And then Buddy and his cameraman did the same thing. Tried out on the blind, just was a little bit tight. They moved to a tree stand setup. But what they did, like halfway through the hunt, they ended up hunting off of the water a little bit and kind of more on like an ambush point, kind of catch them before they're going to the water. Reason being is actually in one of the recent podcasts I just talked about how they're super skittish, these nilgai are. Seemed like every time they came into the water or kind of along the edge of the water, they would just stand there and just survey everything, and they were just making sure everything's good, which it makes sense, you know. And so Buddy and his cameraman went kind of a little bit deeper in, and what they were saying was they just seemed way less skitty. Like they were way more comfortable. They just kind of came walking in rather than take 2 steps, stand there and survey everything. They just kind of came walking through. So I think Buddy definitely plans to do that. And I'm not really too sure what Scott's plan is as of right now. Thinking probably start at water, try that. I mean, we had luck there. I mean, we had some good encounters and stuff like that. So
this isn't, I think this is their 3rd nilgai hunt, because they went, the first time I think they just tried to self-film it and they just kind of went to hunt.
Yeah, and that was before I was here too.
Yep. And then the next time they went, then you went, and then it's been a year or 2, and now you're going again.
Yep.
Well, like I said, nilgai are the world's largest antelope.
Yeah, and they are huge.
Yep, they're big. It's interesting because you think about a pronghorn antelope, and you know they're both in the antelope family, I would think. Antelope in Colorado, pronghorn antelope, they are the same way. You know, and just like a lot of animals, if you ever watch a National Geographic, you know, they go to water and that's where the crocs are.
Yeah.
Or any other predator that's just waiting to ambush them. And so, and the other thing about it, and we would always tell people this with pronghorn antelope, guys, you know, it's always trying to work through like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And what we would always say is like, listen, dude, the best time to draw is when they lean down to drink, because when they lean down to drink, their eyes are here, but they look straight down. They can't see. And that's why they get so skitty on the way in.
Yeah.
They're sitting there and they just survey and survey, because they know once they look down, they can't see anymore. And that's when stuff pounces, which is ironic because that's when we're trying to pounce too in the way of drawing.
Right.
But a lot of times too with pronghorn antelope, we'd always tell guys, man, if you get drawn when they're drinking, they look back up. You better get after it, because they are not going to stick around.
Yeah.
Once they drink, they're like, okay, I'm good. And they're out of town. Yeah. They're not going to stick around and hang out. Yeah. They're going to drink, and then they're going to get out of there. Yeah. They'll look and look and look for 10, 15, 20 minutes, even longer, just looking and looking and looking. And as soon as they're like, all right, I'm doing it, they drink and they get back up, and then it's see you later. I'm Oscar Mikan. Yeah. So, and like I said, it's just that their eyesight, they're looking forward and then they're looking down. As soon as they're looking down, they're not seeing what's happening. So I would think that would be the same type of thing with the nilgai.
Yeah, for sure is. That we had one really good encounter. They came right in. They went to the water. I mean, it seemed like they were drinking for like 5 minutes. It was funny because you could just see their mouths just
slurping it down.
Just a huge gulp, but they did it for a really long time. And like you said, as soon as they were done, they got out of there.
Yeah, they're not sticking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, that's a pretty cool thing. Like I said, they're just bizarre. It's bizarre that they're there. Yeah. That King Ranch is a really unique place in and of itself. Yeah. And like I said, the whitetails that they have there. I remember when we did the Dallas Safari Club show in Dallas years and years ago, the King Ranch had a booth set up. Yeah. And it was pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
When you're looking at the whitetails and the nilgai and just all that stuff. It's like, dang, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I don't think we're staying at the exact same place we stayed last time, but the lodge was super cool. A bunch of big, huge whitetail mounds. It was a really, really cool place. Another cool thing is like we're saying, it's a huge ranch. And so when
it's a working ranch.
Yep, exactly. So when you see cattle, you see that W on there.
It's just like on the Ford F-150s.
Yes,
it's the King Ranch.
Yeah, it's the same brand on them, and it's super. I don't know why, but that part I just remember that being really cool to see. It's
pretty iconic.
Yeah, it was super cool. The one thing is, I hate snakes. I'm super nervous to run into a snake.
I forgot. Oh, that's a funny story. I'm gonna interrupt you there. So the other day we were out setting out cameras and stuff. We were walking down this 2-track to what we call the tongue. So we walked down this 2-track to the tongue, and just to totally mess with Nick, I said to him, yeah, man, tell you what, I heard a thing I was listening to the radio the other day, and there was a public service announcement about timber rattlesnakes. They've been really bad in northern Iowa. And Nick, he stopped mid-stride. I mean, his foot was like in the air, and he looked at me. He's like, what? I said, I'm telling you, man. I'm just telling you. I know you don't like snakes. I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm just saying. I heard that there's a lot of timber rattlers in northern Iowa this year that have been out and about. Still foot in the air. and I had to look away, like look in the trees and try to smiling, and I'm like get my poker face back on. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, you gotta be careful. Instantly your brain is just rolling, and then you're like, and then I think the first thing he says, you don't listen to the radio. I'm like, oh yeah, I listen. You have Sirius XM. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I turn to the radio sometimes. 106.1, 104.9, 98.7. I started. you're like, shut up. I'm like, man, dude, I'm just telling you. And then it went to the, are you being serious? Are you joking?
I cannot stand snakes. Snakes and mice just tweak me out.
Oh my gosh.
But
yeah, you're like an elephant, dude. I don't think elephants like mice, at least they did in the cartoons. And I don't think they like snakes either. Not many things do like snakes.
Yeah, I hate snakes.
Except like, I don't even know what likes a snake. What likes a snake? I don't know. Something that's hungry for a snake?
Well, Buddy grabbed one a couple years ago that was the size of his tailgate.
Was it a rattlesnake?
Yes. And he kept it alive, they said. And then he killed it. But last time I was there, we didn't have any runners with snakes, but Scott got bit by a scorpion.
No, he didn't.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of scorpions.
And there was a scorpion in our shower.
You know, the funny thing is you see scorpions on National Geographic or on TV, and they look like they're big. They are really small.
They're tiny.
They're itty-bitty tiny.
Well, at least the ones that we saw were tiny.
Yeah, the ones that I've seen scorpions, they're really small.
Yeah.
Maybe there's huge ones somewhere. Yeah. Probably is. But the ones that I've seen are like itty-bitty. You're like, oh, look at you, little guy.
Yeah, it crawled up on his hip belt on his backpack, and he was putting his backpack on as we were leaving. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, geez, And he like threw his backpack off, and like we're looking around. I'm like, there's a scorpion on there.
Whoa.
Stung him like right in here.
Did he have to do anything? Mm-mm. Just put a bandage on it and rubbed a little dirt into it?
It just puffed up a little bit.
Grabbed a little dirt, spit in his hand, pasted it up, just rubbed it on there?
Yeah, but at that point I'm like, man, we really are not in Kansas anymore, boys.
You're not even in, you've never even been to Kansas. You're
driven through it.
You're not in Iowa, Wisconsin anymore.
I've flown over it, so.
I'll never forget one time I was in Texas on a videoed hunt. We were hunting deer and pigs, and we were hunting predators too. And we were staying at this nice little lodge, and we were back during the middle of the day. Well, there was some just beautiful clouds going by, and there was like a little yard in the back, and I'm like, oh man, this would be perfect. Like, and I was trying to get the shot, and I'm setting up the tripod, and I kind of didn't really like pay much attention where I was, and all of a sudden I was like, I was kind of probably a little too far than I should have been. Whatever. I set up the camera, got it all going. I walked back in the house, and the guy that we're with, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I was just out back setting up a time lapse or whatever. And he goes, out back that way? And I said, yeah. And he instantly like kind of like high steps over to the window, and he saw where the camera was. He's like, and he kind of got startled. He was like, don't do that. And I was like, what? I I'm like, what do you mean don't do that? Like, what? What did I do wrong? He's like, do you know how many rattlesnakes are in that brush right there? He's like, listen, time lapse done. He's like, I'll go pick up the camera. Well, he had like these snake boots that he'd wear, and they make pants and all that stuff. He had the snake boots on. So and it was funny to watch him. Here I am, cavalier, like about rolling down there like I'm lit on fire doing stop, drop, and roll. And he's like tiptoed, like watching every step. He had like this little pointer thing. He was like moving stuff as he went. He grabbed the camera and he got out and he's like, don't do that anymore. I'm like, got it. Love you too. You know, he was not happy with me. He's like, you know what happens when you get bit by a rattlesnake? And I was like, no, I think I said, I'm like, I'm from Iowa. We don't have rattlesnakes. I felt really stupid. We had them in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I'd always have a shovel in the back of my truck just for that reason, because we'd have to take guys to animal blinds in the morning. And I hate snakes, but when you're the guide, you're never lost and you're never afraid. So I'd have to lean on the never afraid part, even though I was scared to death. Like, well, there's rattlesnakes, so hold on a second. I'd go get my shovel, and you're holding it by the very end of the shovel. It's just enough so you can control the shovel, and you know, do what you got to do. It's like, hey man, it's you or me. And I'd always give him a chance. I'm like, I look like a crazy person because I talk to it. I'm like, all right, bro, you need to leave. Like, I'm going to give you a chance. You can't understand me, but you can hear I'm saying something. Get out of here. And I try to like nudge them away. And sometimes they do, you know, and I'd be like, all right, bro, last chance, time for you to go. And they wouldn't. And then I'd have to take matters in my own hands and chop them in half. But I had to kill a pretty good sized one time. Well, I actually almost stepped on it. We were walking along elk hunting, and it was like where you didn't think there would be a rattlesnake, but there was. And here I'm walking along, and all of a sudden I heard it rattling, and you instantly just start hopping like you're on a hot tin roof, you know, oh, jeez, and you're backing up, and then there it was. We weren't very far away from the truck, so I ran back to the truck and grabbed the shovel, and it was a big one. It was big, and the guy I was hunting with was from Texas. He's like, heck yeah, that's a good one. And I was like, okay. So we killed it, and then made it into a belt. I have a rattlesnake belt. I gave it to Tatum. She still wears it. Snakes are awful. One time when we went elk hunting in Colorado, that last time with Scott and Buddy, and then they got COVID, so Indo Facto got to go hunting. We were walking around this water hole, and there's lots of snakes by water, which isn't good for you. And sure enough, we come across rattlesnake. Well, Zach Miller hates snakes way more than you. Way more. Way more. He hates them way more than you. Like, if I had a snake, I could, like, bring it up to you and you would, like, not be happy. He would be running the other way.
I think I would be, too.
Well, we found a rattlesnake, and we had the camera on that big, long single pod. So I'm like, oh, we got to do this. So we put it down there. You can find that footage. And we got the rattlesnake to strike the camera. You could see the venom on the lens. It was awesome. I was like, oh! You can hear Zach in the background. He was freaking out.
I hate snakes so much. I'm seriously freaking out about that.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah. Listen, it's just like they say, you know, like, don't guide the guide. That's rule number one when you're a client. But the other rule is walk behind the guide.
Yeah.
Just walk behind the guide.
Yeah, no doubt.
There was multiple times when we would be in certain spots in Colorado. I would tell the guy, I'm like, hey, man, just stay behind me. Yeah. What do you mean? It's like, well, we're going to cut through this little bottom here, and there's water in here, and there's just snakes. And, like, I'll do the best I can to try to hear them or see them.
Yeah.
And there'd be multiple times when I've had to grab guys by the back of their jacket or back of the neck. Dude, stop. And the kids, you can hear them rattling. They're walking right at it.
Yeah.
Duh, stop, hold on. So, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Just walk behind them.
Right.
Just
yeah.
Oh.
Just hate them.
What about if you get bit? You're going to have someone suck out the venom.
That'd be just a terrible way to go.
What are you talking about? Dude, I think bit by a rattlesnake, mauled by a bear, eaten by a shark, that would be the coolest ways to go.
No.
You rather die like in a hospital bed, like all like, oh, I'm dying. That sounds terrible. Just take me out, dude. Give me a fighting chance. Like, I want to die like where I'm like really having to get after it. You know what I mean? Like, so how'd Cole die? got mauled by a bear. Sounds awesome.
I guess.
If that comes true, I love you, family. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Better knock on wood with that one. But yeah, I think getting bit by a rattlesnake is a good way to go.
Hopefully we don't need to find that out.
Yeah.
But
no, but it should be, you guys should have a good hunt. That'll be really interesting to see how that all squares out. And like you said, running the HR 600s and yeah, see if you guys can get after it.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So the other thing we wanted to talk about today is just a little recap and just a little riff discuss sesh about Jace Elliott being here last week. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like you said, the biggest thing that I took away from the report and that I think he reiterated while he was here, obviously he wrote the report and had a huge hand in that. I think it was obviously a team of people, not just him, but I think the buck stopped with him, no pun intended, is that the state of Iowa is definitely shifting the narrative on CWD.
Yeah.
This isn't an eradication plan. This isn't this is how we beat this type thing.
Yeah.
It's more of a, this is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. This is how we move forward and try to create a sustainable deer herd that we can all enjoy in what ways we like to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And again, I thought it was interesting because initially, I think everybody, we go to the extreme, like, okay, well, is this the end of it? Like, is it going to look entirely different 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I thought it was interesting because he talked about all these other states that have been going through it for quite a bit longer than we have, state of Iowa has. And I think we've got some runway yet,
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
think that we're going to see this huge shift in the next 5 to 10 years. Could it mean the next 25 years that the age structure for whitetails gets a bit trickier?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really could. Could it get a lot harder for a deer to get to 5.5, 6.5, 7.5 years old? Man, it sounds like it really could, but maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, look at Wisconsin, look at all these other states that have been going through it for a long time. They're still killing big deer there.
No, so I've been thinking a lot about this, and it just, I don't know. I mean, he said that Wisconsin's had it for a lot longer than we have, correct?
Yes.
Like almost back into like the 90s, maybe even earlier.
Yep.
My numbers could be wrong, but what I'm saying is like, I live in Wisconsin, know a ton of people that hunt in Wisconsin, and it feels like nothing has really changed herd-wise. I mean, there's still people shooting great bucks every single year. It's not like it's creating, herd population, like the population isn't herding yet. And so it was interesting because it really made me think about it because it's like, it just feels like we don't know a ton about it yet. If Wisconsin's had it that long and we're still shooting good deer, you know what I mean? And still having a manageable herd.
I feel like CWD is like a fire or like electricity.
Yeah.
Right? Fire can burn you.
Yeah.
It can kill you.
Yeah.
But if you just stay away from the fire and you just use it to keep you warm, it's okay.
Right.
You follow me? Like
Right.
electricity. I always joke, I know enough about electricity to stay away from it. You use electricity in the right way and it powers your house. You use it the wrong way, and guess what? You're going for a heck of a ride.
Yeah.
Or a heck of a bow, because
Yeah.
it just shocks you.
Yeah.
And I think that's like CWD. I think that if you get too close to it, it's going to burn you. But you just have to be aware that the fire and that heat is there. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And
And
I think that my perspective too has just changed. Like, I felt like when I initially started reading the report, I was like, oh man, this is going to be bad. Like, this is going to change everything. I don't know. I still a little bit feel like that, but before I felt like it was like 80%, like this is the end of it. And now I feel like it's not near close to 80%. I feel like but again, they don't know either. They're still trying to figure it out.
Yes, exactly.
But they're looking at what the other states are going on. And just like you said,
Yeah.
it hasn't completely stopped everything. There are areas and zones that are seeing impacts, in Wisconsin, in Iowa, but it's not like it's so bad.
Yeah.
But they don't want to let it get away from him either.
Right,
Because that's how it ends up happening. All of a sudden you go, well, how did we get here?
Yeah.
They don't want that.
Yeah.
And I think the thing he said so much that I really appreciate about the Iowa DNR, and I think what Jace is trying to do, being here and fostering this relationship and being willing to talk to us about stuff and be very open about everything, is that this is a give and take.
Right.
We have to work together, the DNR and the public, and the perception between the public towards the DNR and vice versa is very, very important.
No doubt. Yes.
And that's why he's sitting here. That's why we're talking about this now, because perception is reality.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations, right? Like, it might not be the reality, but perception is reality.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yes.
And the way that we all perceive what's going on, they're just trying to make sure that somebody doesn't get to 10, 15 years from now say, well, why didn't you guys do anything?
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden somebody really investigates, found they didn't do anything. Well, guess what? They are doing something.
Right.
And they're trying to make sure they lay that foundation with us and all the people that are using the resource so that we understand that they're trying to have a plan and knowing that the plan may change, may shift.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And I think too, another part that I thought was really interesting was when he was talking about the, like, do what we can to decrease the amount of like deer grouping up around something. So like a mineral site, a mock scrape. I thought that was really, really interesting because like, in Wisconsin, they banned all mineral, anything like that in Wisconsin. I don't know if it's county by county or statewide. I can't remember, but I know our county we can't. But when that happened, my cousins who hunt in Wisconsin, like, it just makes no sense because there's still going to be things that naturally occur that are going to make deer herd up, group up, like a watering hole, like a vine scrape, a small food plot.
Just anything that's a normal deer behavior.
Anything, yeah.
Just a normal scrape or normal rub.
Yeah.
A buck bumping a doe through the woods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just what they do.
Yeah. So
how they interact, communicate.
No doubt. So I thought that was kind of interesting how, he kind of said, try and decrease, maybe, I guess you could call it not so natural if you're making a mock scrape or making a mineral site, but
he also didn't say that they're going to take that stuff away.
No.
But again, they have made things where it's like, and maybe sounds like it's been around for a while, but no mineral on public land, right?
Right. Yeah.
So they're trying to. I think it's interesting how that does seem like a difference with Iowa is they differentiate. Mm-hmm. Okay, this was happening on public ground, private ground.
Yeah.
You have a choice. It's your land.
Yeah.
We don't manage that.
Yeah.
Whereas, some of the states like, well, this is what it's going to be across the board.
Yes.
Yes. Which I think sometimes that kind of fuels the discussion. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't do it on public, but you do it on private. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, I think it'd be really interesting as we move forward. And you heard him talk about, to your point, about with these mock scrapes, mineral sites, how you can do it on private land. And do people start just kind of self-regulate and self-govern kind of what they do? And man, I'm starting to see less deer, or we did have a bunch of CWD. I say that to kind of piggyback into what he talked about with those incentive hunts. Those incentive hunts are going away. Why? Because you can see in the report the numbers of landowners on private land, because it's a private land that they're doing these hunts on, the number of landowners getting involved is decreasing. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have less people. Well, why is that? Some of them are like, well, I don't, we're already having a tough time. Now I want to kill even more deer. I don't like that idea.
Exactly.
And so then they're like, well, now it's time to shift. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting. There is a lot going on with that.
Oh man, yeah. And then you throw EHD into the mix. I mean, man, there's just a lot, like you said, a ton going on in the state of Iowa for sure, and many other states too. Yeah. I mean, it's just a crazy time. I'll
tell you what, I'm going to stand on my soapbox here, and again, we keep saying this over and over. I can't say enough how much I appreciate Jace being willing to be here. And obviously at some point, somebody above him has to say, yeah, go ahead.
Exactly.
Take the day, go up there and do that. So that's cool that there's somebody up above that's saying, you know what, and they're making this a priority. But the thing with that is what I'm trying to say is what I can't overstate is I appreciate the open lines of communication and the willingness to communicate effectively about it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I don't even know which one it was. That's terrible. We have 5. I think it was Jet or Finn. When they were first born, our baby doctor was gone this one day. And we had to have this other person. And he didn't hardly speak a lick of English. I mean, we couldn't understand a thing he said.
Yeah.
And his attitude on top of it didn't seem very good. And his tone of whatever he was trying to say was not very friendly.
Yeah.
Right. And all of a sudden, and I knew deep down he was trying to help because it was like Finnerjet was like not feeling good or something wrong, but he wasn't communicating that effectively. Right. In his verbal, what he was saying, his physical demeanor, his tone. And I lost it, dude. I mean, I joke with my kids. I have 2 rules. Don't be, it's about respect and honesty. Don't be disrespectful and don't lie to me. And that's a lot of, I mean, you've seen me lose my marbles a couple times at gas stations. Yeah. Not in the gas station, but that's another whole other story. And I lost it. I'm like, bro, like you can leave, have somebody else come in here. And when the next person comes in, the main thing I need them to be able to communicate with us. Because you may have a PhD, you seem like a really smart guy. You are really, really bad at communicating.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand a thing you're saying, first off. I don't like the tone you're saying it in, and I don't like your attitude.
Yeah.
You follow me? But we don't get any of those that type of stuff from our experience with the DNR.
Yeah.
Even when you go to the meetings that could get a little hostile, where guys can say some things where it's almost like whoever gets the last word, and you kind of go there to, I got you. You hear guys that do that. Those guys, meetings we've been at, they've never reacted.
Yeah.
There was times that I didn't mean to, but I kind of like put words into Jace's mouth where he's like, hey, hold on a second. I want to correct you on that. That's not what I meant. Right. That's not what I said. Yeah. Oh, geez. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't be like, dude, what the heck? And like get all mad.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, you're good. Like, this is how we want to, this is what I want to make sure is understood.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that communication.
Yeah.
Because these people are really smart. He's a really smart guy. There's guys at the DNR that are really smart guys who've gone to college for a long time, have worked really hard to get where they are.
Yep.
He's talking about prions and preons and all this crazy stuff. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, spongiform.
Yeah, spongiforms. But they're trying to figure out a way to communicate that to the masses.
Right.
And I really appreciate that because for us, man, that's just like, I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
I know CWD isn't good.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have a better understanding of it now. So I think that's really good what they're doing.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and I think the cool thing too is like just having somebody like that on, a deer biologist. There's deer all over the country.
Yeah.
Anybody can listen from one side of the country to the other, could listen to that and be super interested in it. And I think he just does such a good job of going in depth the right way where he doesn't lose us. Like it all makes sense. It's just.
And he's a deer hunter too.
Exactly. Yes. So it's.
Well, I'll tell you what. The other thing that I think is interesting is, I mean, I like him a lot. I think he's a really nice guy.
Oh yeah.
I like how he kind of. I mean, maybe he's on social media. I don't know, but like I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that's important to him. I mean, we do this here, but I don't like. I'm not trying to do anything on my own personal social media except for just have an account so I can, look at what I look at.
Yeah.
But I like that about him. You know what I mean? He's just like, but my point is you hear him talk during the podcast, off the podcast, he travels around.
Yeah.
He gets to all different corners of the state. I was actually talking a couple days ago, had a buddy at the house. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go check out this spot. And he goes, what? You go, why are you going to go up there? I said, oh, I just got a tip on something. I got to go check it out.
Yeah.
And he goes, who tipped you off on that? So I told him, he goes, really? He goes, where does he live? I'm like, I think he lives I think he lives in like Des Moines or somewhere. He goes, why would he be going all the way up there?
Yeah.
I said, man, dude, that's part of the job.
Yeah.
That is part of the job. You never know when you may run into him walking through the woods. And he doesn't walk around and be like, oh, I'm Jace Elliott, the head deer biologist state of Iowa.
No doubt.
He's just a deer hunter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you just never know who you're talking to.
Uh-huh.
So, and he's all over the place.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Even like he's like, oh yeah, because we were talking about going down Knoxville. It's like, oh yeah, I was just down so and so. I was over here. I was over here. I mean, he was talking about counties that I know where they are, but if you were like point on the map in 2 seconds, I'd be like, it's over here.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah.
yeah.
Which is cool. I mean,
there's 99 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
No, which is awesome. I think it's really awesome that he does that, but I think it's important too. Mm-hmm. It's probably kind of part of what he does on a day-to-day just so he can understand those certain parts of the state where from a deer standpoint, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean that's his office.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
no, it's super enjoyable when he comes in. I really enjoy talking to him.
I'll tell you the other thing I thought was interesting, and we didn't talk a ton about this. We talked about it a little bit. Obviously, we focused a lot more on CWD, was EHD.
I know.
It's funny because I think you and I this whole summer, and he talked about that too. It's like, oh man, we kind of feel like we're in the clear. We're getting all this rain. It's been really good, all this moisture. But the fact of the matter is we had him on pretty near about this time last year.
Yep.
And we were sitting not terrible then either.
Yeah.
And then the faucet shut off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then it went straight into negative town.
Yeah.
And so we're not in the clear yet.
No.
We got a lot of year left, and August and September, August first half of September can get in.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He said Labor Day is normally his time to start really looking at stuff.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. He did say that. That is really good. So we'll see how that all turns out. He did say that we just came through the worst EHD outbreak in Iowa history.
Yep.
That's a pretty big statement.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, whoa, that's interesting. But then I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or we talked about it after. I think I talked to him. We asked him this during, like, the relationship that he has with outfitters. You know, outfitters are trying to run a business, their livelihood. They're trying to provide for their families, you know, and, you know, what did he hear? You know what I mean? And he didn't sound like it was like anything like way, way, way out of the ordinary or alarming.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting too, that, which it's kind of funny, makes total sense. Getting a lot of calls from non-residents.
Yeah.
The last couple weeks because the draw came out. Guys were trying to figure out they had the deadline. They had to make sure that they got in, which zone were they going to try to get into, the public land or the outfitter they were looking at, the ground that they were looking at.
Yeah.
Was there going to be any deer left? Trying to decide between what was true and not true.
Right.
You know, there's a lot to that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
You filled in a lot of calls on that.
Yeah. I think the craziest stat was the spotlight. The spotlight test in Western Iowa.
5 deer in 50 miles.
That is really, really insane to think about.
5 deer in 50 miles.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, the thing that kept coming to my mind was, you know, you look at North Iowa compared to South Iowa. Southern Iowa, I mean, there's deer stinking everywhere. But just the other night, I went for a drive, broad daylight, and I bet you I saw 65, 70 deer probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you I didn't maybe I put 50 miles on, but not much over if I did. And that's broad daylight.
Yeah,
you know,
broad daylight in the wrong time of year
Yeah.
if you're trying to count deer.
Yeah, exactly.
All these cornfields on every other mile.
Exactly. So it's like you think about that when I think he said that they do that in the springtime.
Well, so a little bit of background. They do these spring deer counts because obviously there's no foliage out there.
Yep.
You can see if
Crops aren't up.
there's no crops out, you could see way off. It's great to spotlight.
Yep.
And generally you're going to see deer herded up right at the end of the winter towards the beginning of spring.
Yeah.
And they'll still be kind of coming out in those fields. And so you can cover country, and sounds like they kind of go on these same routes and they count deer.
Yeah.
And it's a great time to really get a good, you know, thermostat of where are we at? What's the temp at?
Yeah.
On how is this looking from the season prior?
Correct.
And that's why they do it every spring. End of winter, beginning of spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to hear 5 deer in 50 miles.
Yeah. It's insane.
And not only that, but I was going to further on what you said about Northern Iowa and Southern Iowa. If you're from Southern Iowa, what you hear people talk about with Northern Iowa is, man, you get north of Ames and there ain't no trees.
Yeah.
You guys got trees up there? You ain't got no trees, just flat corn country, right?
Yeah.
And when you get in Southern Iowa, you're like, man, dude, you guys got more trees than you can handle. I mean, it's just trees everywhere. It's just Southern Iowa is rolling, just contour everywhere, up and down and down and up. And then you drop into a big river bottom flat, and then there's cornfields everywhere, and then there's ridges up the sides, and it's just like, this is deer heaven.
Yeah.
And then you get in northern Iowa, and it just flattens off hard.
Yeah.
And the difference here, especially, instead of being big tracts of timber, fragmented.
Yeah.
Fragmented. Everything is fragmented. You heard him when he talked about that 5 and 50 miles. I said that. I go, man, that country over there is fragmented as all get out. It looks a lot like north central Iowa.
Right.
You get west of Clear Lake. You even get east of Clear Lake, east of south of Mason City area, 50 miles. It's very fragmented here.
Yeah, very much so.
Very fragmented. Yeah, you have the Winnebago River. You've got the Iowa River. You have the Cedar River. And you've got those river bottoms. But after that,
it's not much.
There's not much. Every year, and I understand, I'm not saying this is a knock, we've watched it on the places that we hunt. What do they do the next spring? Take it over one more row. Take it over one more row. Plow over another 5 feet, another 10 feet. And all of a sudden, hey, you know what? Let's cut that grove off a little bit more. Hey, let's take those trees out on that corner. We can get another acre out of there, and an acre over here, an acre over here. And that's what they do. And it just keeps fragmenting it more and more and getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And that's what North Iowa is compared to Southern Iowa. It's just so fragmented.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting. Like it has its advantages and disadvantages. I think if you'd never been to Iowa and you didn't know where the best place to go hunt was, you didn't know this is such a scenario, but let's just walk through it because I love hypotheticals. If you had never been to Iowa and you didn't know anything about where the big deer were at in Iowa, and they had a plethora of pictures and maps and all these aerials that showed you where, naturally you would go, man, look at all that, look at all those trees, look at all that, look at those deep cuts and all those fingers, like, man, sign me up for that. Okay? There's truth in that. But then another guy may look at it and go, you know what? I like all that, but man, it's going to be hard to track something down. It's so big. I'm going to go up over here. Like, there's only one river bottom. Yeah. Like, there's not another river bottom for 30 miles in each direction of that river bottom.
Right.
Like, to me, it looks like that's a great place where it's going to concentrate the deer a bit more. It's not so like, where are they going to be? Where's Waldo? I know where Waldo is. He's down in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So it's just different. But also, if you can't find Waldo, you're just flipping the pages.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So sorry, my foot itches. I'm like leaning over because my foot is itchy. Got an itch on my foot. It's actually my ankle.
No, that was another thing I was thinking about too, which I wish I would have asked him. I was thinking about asking him, and then just the conversation went on, and then it got done, and whatever. But the question I would have is, like, I'm really curious of how they do this 50-mile spotlight survey, whether it's just because I feel like it's a really big part of what they do. It's like, I wonder if they just pick one single night and they just go drive that 50 miles. They
put out that report earlier this year about the deer densities. They talked about I remember they went in detail about how they do the spotlight survey or the surveys. I don't want to misquote it, but I remember it talking about that. And I thought it said something about that they would kind of drive the same routes, and then they have, multiple people trying to look and count, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to leave it there.
Yeah.
We should try to find that, or you should read up on that. And it talked about that in there.
Yeah. I would love to be a part of something like that.
I think they take volunteers for that.
I would do that 100%. I think that'd be super interesting.
Yeah.
Man, me and Dad used to shine deer constantly.
Yeah.
In the fall and stuff.
Well, and again, I'm going to stand on my soapbox again. I don't know why this came to my mind the other day. Well, I think it was because I was talking to a buddy about how I would love to get a night vision scope and a thermal monocular for some predator hunting.
Yeah.
It's funny how you could spotlight in Iowa, but you can't use red lights for predator hunting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to those meetings every spring, and I'm going to write that down on a piece of paper for hopefully not the next 10 years. I would love to see that change. And if the argument is, well, you know how many guys are going to be predator hunting and are going to be trying to kill deer? Well, they can already spotlight. So what difference does it make?
Yeah.
In the fact that they would use the spotlights to kill deer too. And if it's that big of a deal, then don't let people use red lights during the deer season. You can't use them from October 1st until after January 10th.
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Don't let us use them all winter. Gosh, man, you could do a number with red lights, and it would get more people into it because a red light is way less expensive on a gun that you already have set up than having to put a night vision on, put a thermal on, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. I would love to be able to use red lights in Iowa.
Yeah.
And there's arguments to be made about using red lights for coyotes. You know what I mean? Like you hear guys talk about that they get kind of skitty, and that's why guys have gone to thermal and night vision for coyotes. But I don't know, it'd be interesting in the fact that like we've never done that here, you know, so could you get away with it more than you could out east, you know, with red lights? Maybe, maybe not.
Right.
But yeah, gosh, I just wish we could use red lights, especially for the fact that we could spotlight.
Yeah, exactly.
I personally don't know anybody that spotlights here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been years since me and Dad did it.
It feels kind of like naughty, you know what I mean? But there's nothing naughty about it. If it's legal, do it, you know?
Yeah, and actually the deer, I mean, you'd think that the deer would get really, really skitty when you did it, but they don't. I think it's just so bright that they just kind of stand there and look at it, and then you just on your way.
On but their merry way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. We would see a ton of really big bucks doing that. Yeah. Which makes sense. Middle of the night, you know?
Yeah, no, it's really...
Well, not the middle of the night. I can't remember. I think it was during the fall. Like I said, it's been a long time, but I think in the fall you had to be done by 10 p.m., I think. In the summers, I think you could do it whenever you wanted to, but...
Yeah, so when I was in Colorado, spotlighting was illegal.
Okay.
And it was always a really tricky thing. We'd have that conversation with clients a lot in the fact of we would be driving down the road and see an elk like in an alfalfa field or a mule deer. Oh, hey, whoa, stop. It's like, hey, dude, we can't spotlight. And then they'd say, well, that's cool. Well, just turn your lights over there. They didn't like that either.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
And you would hear landowners that would see guys, and that's what they would do, which is what's the difference, right? Like if you pull into a farm driveway and you scan your lights all the way across and then back up out again and scan it across again, that's spotlighting.
Yeah.
You know, and so there was guys that got pegged for that right where we were at, where you would hear guys, landowners be like, oh yeah, I saw so-and-so. And then they see the truck drive by and they would pull in, they would look, and then they would leave. They didn't have a spotlight out the window, but they were spotlighting with their headlights.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, Colorado that was, and that's, I think, part of where like, it kind of feels like a frowned upon thing for me because it was frowned upon there.
Right. Yeah,
there, but but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was funny. Like a lot of people did it. And I remember when me and Dad would be going out, you would see a truck and sure enough, you'd see just a beam of light scanning across an edge or something like that.
Yeah.
You would see other guys doing it constantly. It was funny, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. It would be that, like I said before, I think that'd be really, really cool to just see how they do it. You know, it would be really awesome. But
it's been years and years ago. I was still shooting a recurve at the time. I was walking back to they didn't even have a truck at that time. I had a car, and I was walking back to my car, and there was a guy driving through spotlighting.
Oh yeah.
As I was walking out, and I got down and like hugged behind a tree.
Yeah.
And just let him do his thing, and he was there for a bit, and it was kind of a. You know, I don't know why I just remember that, but like seeing the light kind of coming through and shining past and going past was kind of interesting. And it's like
probably kind of eerie.
Yeah, and like the shadows, like it was like an insane amount of shadows.
Oh, I bet.
And I always walk out with a red light, so then I was kind of like, gosh, I don't want to look at that light because it's going to ruin my night vision. You know, I like red lights because it doesn't do that, so you could feel like you could see a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
Yeah. No, it was a great conversation with Jace, and it was definitely learned a lot. Learned a lot. So
yeah, and he talked about the in northern Iowa they're gonna take away some doe tags in a few places. Antlerless tags. Wright County, which is right to the southwest of us, will have 0 again. It's only a year or two that they even allowed any antlerless tags. Sounds like in some southern Iowa counties they're going to cut some of those back, but it was really tags that were never filled anyway. Yeah. So is it really going to make a difference? It's just kind of what they were doing anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, it was really cool to have him here. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to talk about is something that I'm really surprised that you haven't talked about. And I'm going to give you a little lead in and let me see if you can figure out what I'm talking about.
Okay.
We're doing a little telepathy here. Little Star Trek, little Spock action.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
What do you got to tell us, Nick?
Oh, you didn't leave me in at all. You didn't leave me in more.
This is as much leading as I'm giving you. I cannot believe you're not thinking of this.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know.
Wow.
I know. What you're
Wow.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's try this again. Let's try take 2. Okay?
Okay.
Now, you heard the song. It has a lead in.
Yeah.
You have to decide. I thought I gave you plenty of lead in there. So whenever you're ready, you jump in. Hey, Nick, what news do you got for us?
All right, so big news is we finally had some good bucks show up on camera.
Yeah!
Finally. Man, it was getting worrisome. Holy cow.
Guacamole.
It was getting worrisome for a while there, man. It was just and the worst
Way past worrisome. I thought you were going to have a meltdown.
well the worst
I thought we were going to have to get you a Snickers.
Well, the worst
I
part-
thought you were going to be. Oh. Go ahead.
the worst part was it
That was the sound machine. I had nothing to do with
I saw
that.
you push it. No, the worst part was man, my cousin Benny has got some absolute crankers on camera, and it was like every night he's like, check this one out. I'm like I really I was like, man, I really, really wish that I could show you something good, but I don't got anything.
We got a bunch of. We're in Dink City, is what we're in.
It was
we're the
literally-
mayors of Dink City right now, is what we're doing.
Like the first, I mean, what was that? 2 weeks ago where we got everything out? Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
If we were a movie, we would be on the movie. What is that? The Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. We're like the Oompa Loompas in Dinkville of bucks.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've had them out for 2 weeks now?
At least 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And it's just been really, really weird. I mean, there's been a decent bit of does and fawns on camera, but
Oh
just
my
when a
gosh.
buck walks by, it's a little spike, a little raghorn, nothing
1.5
crazy.
year old, two and a half year old, nothing good.
And then all of a sudden, Sunday night, there was just a bunch of pretty solid bucks. One of them for sure looks pretty good. He's got huge brows.
And he's not an absolute mega giant either,
He's actually probably the perfect deer to pass, but
or the perfect jet deer.
there's like 17 good jet deer now.
Oh my goodness! Is that
Because-
me? I'm sorry. I am sorry. My phone, unbelievable. That was so rude.
It's all
I apologize.
It's all right. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, we say we're bummed out about all these little bucks running around, but if it's got a rack, it's the perfect deer for Jack.
Oh my gosh!
You
And
know,
he is dead set. He told me that the other day, dude. He's like, I'm holding out for a buck. I'm like, all right, man. He's like, he really wants to try to shoot a buck.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be good. I mean, I think one piece of the puzzle that we should probably try and figure out here is getting something on a bean field so we can set up on it and get a shot. Just with all that corn, it's gonna be kind of hard. But
Well, and that's the interesting thing too is we drove by the beans we drove by when we were out there, and when we were out there, his beans were like just weed heaven.
yeah, really weeded out.
Really weeded out, but he obviously had them sprayed because
Yeah,
there's
'cause-
nothing like there's a weed left out there.
Not near as bad.
No, it's
looks
really
pretty good. Actually,
It looks really good.
Yeah.
So we really need to get a couple cameras out there,
Yeah.
on those bean fields just to see,
Yeah.
because, I don't know. It's just been a lot of does and a lot of dinks.
Yeah,
And like I
it's-
said, that buck that's got those high brows, he would be a good deer to pass.
Yeah, probably.
But it's still, again, it's not. He wasn't a dink. And the vine is playing. All right.
Yeah, it's
The
definitely
vine's working,
And
and there's bucks that are coming up to that bad boy, and you could see a good one, his right side
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah.
There's deer in there. We know there are.
Yeah. And
It'd just be so nice to see them.
and the one thing about the vine is when we get a deer on there, they're at it.
Yep.
They're messing around with it and whatnot. I will say this: I kind of expected there to be more just deer there. I don't think it's necessarily the vine's not working. I just think that they're not using that exact trail as much as we had kind of expected.
Well, and here's
right now.
Well, here's the other thing, dude. What did we notice when we were in the woods? kamikaze mosquito city.
And it felt like that spot was the worst one too.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I just think, and again, maybe there's no truth in this, maybe there is.
Yeah.
When we go out and we go for an after lunch drive or whatever, we've been seeing deer out in the field during the day, middle of the day.
Getting away from bugs.
They're getting away from bugs. It's like, if I was a deer, I wouldn't be trying to walk along that ridge either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just not the place to be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I would rather, it seems like you'd be better off to be way out in the middle of a cornfield. You know what I mean? Like, not that there's bugs not there too, but where the bugs are being born is where that vine is. You know, that I kind of feel like we're playing the long game with that vine.
No doubt. And
that vine is going to be a great place just to, when the fall comes and it all switches over, that vine is going to be,
I think it's going to be on fire.
yeah, that's going to be Central City.
Yeah.
And then I think what we need to do too is we go out there and we create just a nice little mock scrape on there. You know what I mean?
Dig it out a little bit.
And it could get really good.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like I said, it'd be one thing if we were getting deer on camera and they're like visibly not hitting the vine at all. But I think every single deer that has walked by there, I mean, there was a couple times like when we had all those bucks there was a picture of a buck that looked like he was just running mock Jesus by. Like, obviously he's not going to stop and hit that thing, but
That's funny.
But every other
before.
Every other
mock
deer,
Jesus, not Mach 3, not Mach 2, mock Jesus. I never would have thought Jesus had been really fast, but maybe that's the thing.
he's quick on his feet. But I mean, does are hitting it, small bucks, nice bucks. So
I'll tell you what, though, there's another thing that's really bumming me out.
I know exactly what that is too.
Wild Traveler.
Yeah, he is. I think.
Where is he? Where did he go?
Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he across the way? Where is he?
I mean, I think maybe.
I'm going crazy over here, dude.
I mean, here's my thoughts on it. I really, really think that we need to get something on those beans because the first year that we had them, we had no idea about that deer until pretty sure we just saw him in the fall hunting.
Yeah.
But looking back at some historical pictures, Cole does a very, very good job, and I need to do better at this. This is one piece of trail cameras that Cole's way better at is he saves every single velvet picture in just under just a velvet category per farm, right?
Yep. I just do it where I just do velvet picks, hardhorn picks, velvet picks, hardhorn picks.
Yeah.
For the whole year.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they go hardhorn, I just switch over and
Yeah.
I haven't done it this year, but the cams have been kind of slow that I feel like
been-
I could go back and like if
Yeah.
I see something that's worth, I could just go back and
Yeah.
but I just put them in that category.
Yeah.
I save them in that folder and then I just have them.
Yeah.
Because I don't worry about the SD cards. I'm not worried about the HDs or
Yep.
blah 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 blah. I'm just know that when I log into the Tacticam app, I've got all the historical back to 2020.
2020, I think.
Yeah. So it's pretty handy.
But so I was looking back at all the pictures that we've had from this farm.
Mm-hmm.
I got Cole's login information stuck in there.
Yeah.
Because I was partly because there's been a couple times where you're like, hey, log in here if you want to download something, whatever. So I went in there.
I mean, that permission went away like a year and a half ago, but I'll let it slide.
I know. I always tell you.
I'm just kidding.
I always tell you.
I don't care.
Hey, I went in there.
I could tell you were in my app.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. So, but I looked back, and this was the first year that we had seen him. It was an all corn year like it is this year. We didn't have a single picture of him anywhere in the summer except for on a bean field.
Yeah.
And I think we only had one. And so it's like, he could be up there maybe.
He could be in there.
He could be in there because it would make sense because we kind of have always said maybe he lives more west.
Yeah,
where
I know.
there's a ton of beans up there. It's just like, gosh, are we kind of maybe missing the boat
Well,
on
and
just
here's-
that little piece?
And here's the other thing I've said to you, and I've told you need to go do this. You need to get down in that bottom field,
I know.
in that double stand, in that secluded bean field that you can't see for a mile in any direction with trees all around it. And you could see that whole thing from there.
I know.
Oh, dude. But you're absolutely right. We need to get We need to get at least 1 or 2 cameras. And here's the thing. We sound really stupid right now, okay? Because we have the cameras sitting here. Like, you have extra because we took them off the other place.
No, I know.
And we have them. We're just not doing it. It's like we need to get off our fannies and start, getting after it a little bit.
I know.
You know what they say? I can't even say it because the saying goes,
Yeah, no, I know.
either you know what or get off the pot.
But here's the thing. In all fairness, this has
Been a really, really busy.
probably been the busiest summer of my life.
Well,
It just feels like every single day there's something going on.
as busy as you've been.
You've been 10 times busier.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So it's like, it's been
Yeah.
really hectic this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
It's fine.
It's totally fine.
I just.
Because guess what? We can't kill them right now anyways.
Oh, well, no.
And so, but yeah, so I mean, moral of the story is, like I said, all fairness, been super, super busy, which it's not an excuse, but it is. It's just
fine.
reality.
Listen, it's fine. It's fine. Like you said, we can't kill them now. I think what we're doing is fine. And here's the thing. One thing that's been different about this year than in years past, and the way it's working out with my schedule, I have usually by now, even by this part of July, put pressure out there with the depredation hunting.
Yep.
And I'm going to be doing the depredation hunting again. The tags haven't come through yet. You can start at July 1st. It drives me crazy that we wait weeks and weeks and paperwork finally gets sent in.
Yeah.
And that's not the DNR's fault. It's just everybody's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
So time goes by. Well, then my August is going to get a little hectic. I'm going to be gone. So, that's going to be even more time with no pressure. So that I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
And World Traveler is getting big enough now that, like we've talked about before, like they just get real sensitive to that, and that's what's so hard about that place altogether is the landowner doesn't care about any of that. Please harvest deer for me. Okay. So we're trying to juggle that too,
Yeah, no doubt.
and so the other part that would be handy about trail cameras is to know, are there does coming into those top fields?
Exactly.
There has to be.
There for sure.
I mean,
There's
like
no way
if
there's
we
not.
went to the road field tonight and we had depth tags in our hand, we could sit anyone there on the ground or put a ladder stand or a hang on 5 feet off the ground, just get above the beans and wait for them to walk out, and they would walk out there.
There'd be a deer out there.
There would
Yep.
be a deer out there. There would be deer out there. Dude, the last time that was beans in that road field, multiple times we sound so silly, and it's like you don't realize how much there just deer are there when you're just driving around even in the summertime. Tiptoeing down the gravel road. I'm looking at Jay, you got to be quiet, man. You got to be quiet. Got to be quiet. Oh, okay. We tiptoe through the bean field down the edge. We get up in the stand, the ladder stand that we had set, get up in the stand, pull the gun up. Hadn't even been up there 20 minutes. Look out. Deer stands up right in the middle of the field. Had no idea we were there. Just like, the shade had moved seriously in the field where like they weren't in the shade anymore. It's like, I'm going to stand up and walk over here and lay back down again.
Yeah.
They stood up out of nowhere. Like, whoa, they're there.
Oh, yeah.
They're out there.
No doubt.
And so
No doubt.
they're out there. They're there. And that's the only thing is I wish I would have done. We've kind of been talking about all this stuff, and though there's a landowner right next to the place we hunt, and I know him. I know him in the fact that we've had conversations.
Yeah.
So I called him. We were like on a wild hare that day. I said, you know what? I'm going to call him. So I did. I called him. Hey man, we just had a 5-minute conversation. Hey, listen, well, yeah, me and my hired guy, we just got into bow hunting. We're out there now. I'm like, okay. Well, that could do us some good because if you're just getting into bow hunting, maybe you end up bumping something. You're not quite as been doing it for a long time. Whatever.
Yeah. And I think it's a very natural thing.
Exactly.
I mean,
Because
more people in the woods, it's going to move some deer around.
Exactly,
Compared to
like-
a completely secluded.
That's what that's always been. It's been completely secluded, untouched.
Yeah.
So if it's being touched, that could help us maybe. Right?
Yeah.
But I should have just said like, hey, do you guys harvested any good bucks last year? I didn't even ask him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have told me anyway. They gun hunt it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just kind of sits there.
Yeah.
And those deer know how to get away.
Yeah, and that's a big enough spot too, and there's a lot of exit points for them with the river, and it just.
If we see World Traveler if we see gas, and there's other deer that would be good deer this year too.
No doubt. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if that buck, that big tall brow buck, was probably a buck that just flew under the radar last year.
The other buck that we're not even talking about is Split G2.
I know hopefully he's around too. God. He'll probably be 160 this year.
Yeah, so we got some irons in the fire, hopefully. And like you said, it'll be all right. I'm really, really interested to see how everything shapes up this fall.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm super excited. I just feel like, like we were talking earlier, we got the first true hunt coming up next week.
Yep.
And then once that starts, it's like, I feel like we're going to blink our eyes and be like, okay, it's October 1st.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. We do Nilgai. I go to Alaska. We got Boone Super Dash. Got Boone Super Nationals. That's important. And then it's September. Got some depth hunting to do in there. Got some youth hunting to do in there with Jetty.
New Mexico elk.
We got New Mexico elk to do in there. It's gonna get a little aggressive. It's gonna get going a little bit.
Yeah, it's about to get really, really busy here. But the good thing about that is, man, it's just gonna get us closer to October real quick.
Yep. And then before you know it, then it's my birthday, and then the next day is boom goes the dynamite.
Yep.
Here we go, chimichanga, enchilada, going deer hunting.
Boom.
Okay. I say we wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Good
Another
conversation
podcast
today.
in the books. Moral of the story, get ready, it's coming.
See you next week.
Stay classy.